One word? Yeah, great.
Informative.
Freedom.
We did, yeah, we did a lot of things actually. We researched a lot of things. A lot of things we wanted to research. We also did build a lot of things, which yeah, actually came forth out of the things we researched. So I think we generally did a lot of things in this whole project, a whole different kind of things.
I worked on the open drone, I worked on ARCs.
Within the project, I did mainly the communication. We use 433 megahertz protocol. We made it for our own, so it didn't exist before. I built a frame out of modular parts, which already existed but not in a 3D printed form. And I assisted with documentation about the robot, about the vacuum cleaner, and that's my main responsibility in total.
I made the cyclone system for the vacuum cleaner, and I calculated the measurements, and I sketched the whole system. That's the main thing I was doing.
Also responsible for setting up this whole pilot project.
I made some modification on the 3D printer, and some small stuff on the open vacuum cleaner. I designed some
I was mainly responsible for software, especially for the communication software of the robot, which communicates with a command center wirelessly. I also spent a lot of time in developing applications for the management of the robots, and I wrote software for the robot itself, so it is able to drive and read sensors.
I also give some commentary to others who want some tips or advice about their project or something like that.
The freedom you have in ordering parts in the design process. You won't have anyone who said you can't do that, or it's better to do it another way. And that's what I like about
this project. Was very free. Everything was quite easy to do. So if you want to do something, then it was easy to do that. There was not a very big protocol you had to follow and applications you need to fill in. It was a low threshold to do things, and we were able to play with a lot of nice technologies such as 3D printing.
I liked the most that we had a lot of freedom. We could do almost everything we could imagine. So, and if we didn't like one thing or one thing did go a little difficult, we had a lot of problems with, for example, the ARCs project. We could lay it in the corner and just think about it for a few days.
And we had a great environment to work in. We could decide. We were the only one who makes decisions. So if we dislike something, we can just put it away and take something we do like.
I like the most that we could do everything, and we could do it in our own tempo, and we.
I also liked that the freedom. I also like the freedom of the project. You could do whatever you want, but that was also a problem because you could do 5 things, but none of them were finished. That we are with 6. That we are with 6 other people who did different studies, and you can learn a lot from
I
each
liked
other.
it to work with other students, also with other educations from other schools. It's like a different view on certain problems or certain choices. There you can learn a lot.
Yeah, I learned a lot from sketching, and I liked it very much because I did it when I was younger, but I didn't do it on my study, and now I learned it, and I like
I
it
also
very
had the
much.
opportunity to learn to develop Windows 10 applications. I really liked that. And I learned a lot about hardware developing. I only did software development until now, but I also learned a lot about hardware, especially because the rest of the team is quite hardware.
I liked working with
focused.
people with other abilities and other specialties than I have, and I learned a lot from them, and I like
I
that.
think my goal was to learn something and also to learn how it's work in an innovation center or a company.
But some small frustrations, but there are things we couldn't do anything about, so such as delivery times and that kind of things.
That's
But,
the other also the freedom, because we didn't have any main goal. We weren't focusing with the group. We weren't focusing on one target, and that's why it's all not completely done. It's all half.
I didn't like that there weren't any management or a person who had the final voice who can say we do this
Well,
or we do
everyone did a project, but yeah, we didn't listen to each other, and we just did what we wanted to do. So
maybe sometimes communication.
Planning was
A bit.
sometimes a bit chaotic. Yeah, everyone was very free, as I mentioned, maybe a bit too free. Yeah, maybe a clearer goal. That will help.
Yes, I liked it, but it was very nice to work in. But for the whole project, I think it was not that good. But for as a it need to be a little more restricted. But the concept is good.
Another thing I dislike personally is there is no real deadline for a specific part of the project, and I like to work on a small part and finish it within a given amount of time, and that wasn't the case in our project. So we spent too much time on things which weren't important enough, in my opinion, and that delayed the complete project.
I didn't like that there were a few boundaries. I prefer more boundaries for the project, but not like very hard boundaries, but it must be the destination for this project was a bit unknown, and maybe it's a goal you have, and you can work towards your goal or your destination, and you can self point out your routes to the destination or
you
the
have
goal.
to set very little small borders to the project. Not too much so that you damage the freedom, but and damage the open innovation process.
I think you need a certain control. So somebody looking over your shoulder, not telling what to do, but looking over the shoulder and giving hints, but not every day, but once in 2 days. Show them what you
don't need
did.
actually a management, but you need someone who wants to give a little leadership. So not just say from you don't do that, you do that.
Maybe a little coaching or some little tips to help the students find their own
Well,
way.
during this project I found out that I didn't like to work without a real management system or manager. And I also found out that I really like to work methodically. I really think that the Huijbregts Innovation Center has a lot of potential, but it isn't finished yet. There are still things which have to be changed, and but that's logic because it's the beginning of it. And I think that Huijbregts learned a lot from the first 8 weeks.
I find it an interesting company. I didn't know that this company was so technical. Technical, busy, technical bound with. And I also didn't know that they designed their own
I
machines.
like the company very good because it's open innovation it's like a new thing. I know no other company that would go for this challenge of doing an open innovation center, and I think it can be a very good solution for a lot of companies.